Welcome back. Third video, final video for the card section. So we have been able to, if you watch the first video, we're able to create the header. Second video, we're able to create the section for the filters. And now for this last video, we want to build up the card section. So here in our project, we are going to build this section under here, right? This is where the cards are going to fall in, right? So the cards are going to be here. So once cards are going to be here, going to be here. So I want the cards to display alongside each other like this, from left to right, and also from the top to bottom, like this. Okay, so before I start, I explained earlier about the flex, where flex is one dimensional, right? Flex is either going horizontally or is going what? Vertically. Okay, in this case you need to specify the direction of the what? Of the flex. Okay, specify this to be what? To be a column. I gave this example when I was explaining the flex in the header section, or in the video for the header section. Okay, so that's flex. It's one dimensional. It's either this way or it's this way. It can't be both. Okay, it can't be both. So now if we what is your problem? Sorry, I want to use this page because there's space here. So if we look at this, our card section is going to look something like this, right? So in the section we're going to have card, another card, another card, from left to right, and from top to what? And from top to bottom. Right? Left to right and top to bottom. Now this is called a two-dimensional what? Layout. And to get a two-dimensional layout, what it means is your items are going to display both horizontally and vertically. It's not all vertically like the flex. Flex either takes one of the directions, but we want our items here to show both horizontally and vertically, which is the 2D display. To do this, we are going to make use of the grid system. Okay, we're going to make use of the grid system. So when we display an element as grid, what we are telling the element is all of your content, anything that is inside that element, is going to be displayed both horizontally and what? Vertically. Okay, both horizontally and what? Vertically. Now in this case we are trying to build cards, right? So let me take this off. Is it going to show again? We're trying to build cards that are going to display, is it not? So this is one card, this is two cards, this is three cards inside our what? Grid block, right? So this means if we have up to three cards, right? This is how those three cards are going to what? Display. If we have up to two cards, it's only going to display if we have two cards, it's only going to display the first card and the what? Second what? Card. There's going to be a space for the next card. Okay, if you have up to six cards, it's going to display three at the top and three at the what bottom. Why? Because it works in two-dimensional, horizontally and what vertically. So based on what we declare the in our CSS, it's going to show the number of cards that we declare horizontally. It's also going to show the number of cards that we are going to declare vertically. Okay. So moving on, let's go to the VS Code. Remove this. I remove this. Okay. So we're going to VS Code. Now let's put this here. Close all of this. Okay. So here we were able to create styling for our header. And then here we're able to create the styling for our filter block or section. Okay, let me just use section. Okay. And right now we want to create our styling for the card section. Okay. That being said, let's move on. So before we go on, we need to create a container for the card section, right? The same way we created a container for the header, which is the first section in our layout. The same way we created a section also for the filter block, right? We now want to create the third section. And we're going to call this, say, card block or card section, since this is the card section, right? Card section and enter. So we have created our card section. Amazing. Now inside the card section, we want to display our cards, right? Yes, we want to display, sorry, we're going to show our what div.card. So it's going to create a div element with a class of card. So this is a shortcut for it. So class of what? Card. Enter. Awesome. So we have created our card. So let's see what this looks like. So let us style our card section. Remember we said the card section is going to display as what? Grid. Card section. First of all, we'll give it a width of 100% to fill the container. And like I said, we're going to give it a height. So let's give it a height of 800 pixels. And a background. Let's give it a background color of white. Can you notice what happened? Let me comment this out. So take note of our card section coming up. Great. So notice how there's still space to the left and right. That's because we have already declared our container, the main container, this guy that holds everything. We declared him to have an 85% of width, right? And we use the margin 0 auto to centralize it. I explained this when we were designing the header section, okay? So you can refer to that again and understand what I mean. So now, this is our header section all the way down here, right? So we have, what did I say we're going to do? So like I said, we have inside of our card section, we have a card, right? This is one of the cards that we're going to show. One of these cards. So, one of these cards. So this dev lens quickly inspects page layouts, blah 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 blah. This is the first card that we're going to design, right? So let's get to it. So in our final design, you notice that the card section does not have a background color, right? This card section, it doesn't have a background color. So we are going to give, okay, well, we'll leave that for now. We're going to leave that for now. Let us style the card. So we're going to give the card a width of say 250 pixels and a height of what 200 pixels. So let's give it a background color of red so we can see what we're working with. So we'll come over here. We can see our card right here. Right? Sorry, let me expand this, separate this rather. So we can try increasing this to 300 pixels. Sorry, not 3000, please. 300 pixels. Awesome. So we have seen what our card looks like. So in the original, we have a curve at the edge, which means we are meant to give it a border radius to curve the edges. And just to make it uniform, we give others 10 pixels, right? So we give this 10 pixels. Great. So there we have it. Now, we said our header section or card section, sorry, is going to display as grid, right? Now, anytime we display if we display this section as grid, right, it automatically aligns all the elements vertically and what horizontally. Okay, so let's assume we have more cards. Sorry, I'll highlight all of this to duplicate elements in your HTML document. Just a shortcut: press shift, hold down shift and alt. Okay, and as you're holding it down, tap on your arrow buttons, either down or the arrow button up. Okay, it duplicates your elements in any of those directions. Okay, so now that we have that, we have three cards. We can see the three cards showing here, right? 1, 2, 3. You can notice that from their curves at the edge. Okay, so now we have three cards. We want to display these cards in a grid format. Now, the card section that is displaying white here is who we are going to display as grid. Okay, we're going to display it as grid now. Notice what happened. They all have their what? They all have a gap in between them, right? But displaying it as grid is not enough. Now we need to specify, in this case, how many rows and how many what? Columns. Okay, so in this case, we have 12 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, because this is a fixed number of cards, right? Because this is a fixed number of cards, you can specify both the number of columns from, these are the columns, right? Number of columns, top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom. In this case, we have 3 columns, right? Then you can also specify the number of rows. We have 1, we have 1, we have 2. So if I cancel out this 2, we also have 3, we have what? 4. So we have 3 by 4, right? We have 3 columns and 4 what? Rows. Okay, so now that we have seen how many we have, we can now come over to our grid and identify or declare, sorry, we are going to declare the number of rows. Now, how this works is we are working with a grid template, right? Now, in this grid template, how many rows do we want? And how many columns do we want? So we specify with columns, grid template columns, right? And we're going to specify 1FR, 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 and we'll close. So you can see it now spread these elements in what? 3 different columns. Okay? In 3 different columns. And then for the grid template, we go again. Now we want to specify how many rows, right? So grid template rows, the same thing we just did for columns. Now remember the rows we counted. We counted up to 4 rows, right? So we're going to specify 1FR, 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 1FR. Now what FR means? FR means a fraction. Okay? FR means a what? Fraction. And 1FR means 1 over the general fraction that we have. Okay? So let's say we have, if we specify 3 rows, sorry, as we specify 3 columns, right? 1, 2, 3 columns. Now what the browser is going to do is, out of 3 columns, the first column is going to take a space of 1. That is 1 over 3. The second is going to take 1 over 3. And the third is going to take 1 over 3, making all of these equal. So the width of each column is going to be what? Equal. If I should declare this as 2, so let's go over here. Let me declare the center one as 2. It's going to now double the width, right? It's going to double the width. So if I should cancel the width and height of this, exactly, I wanted you to notice what happened. Because I specified the card, all of them should have a width, right? It forced this middle row that has 2 fractions to also be what? 200. But when you don't give them a width, they automatically take the width of the row of the column that they are under, right? They automatically take the width of the what? Column. So this is 1 over 3. This is 2 over 3. And this is 1 over what? 3. Okay, so 2 over 3 means 2 of this first 2 over 3 is going to be 2 of this card put together as 1. Am I clear? So to make this clear, just as we have gap in flex, we also have a gap in grid. So we declare this to be 20 pixels. Great, so let's come back here. Good, so this is, I believe this is easy to see. Very clear. So this is 1FR, 2FR, 1FR. Okay, good. So, but what we want is, we want all of the cards to have an equal width, right? An equal what? Height. So to do that, we'll need to declare them using the 1FR. So back here, declare 1FR. But coding is about making your work easy. So there's a new, or there's a special value you can apply to your grid template columns or grid template rows to make your work easier. Okay, imagine you have 20 rows. Imagine, will you enter 1FR up to 20 times? That will be too much 1FRs and your work will look clumsy. So let me do this, increase the cards. Exactly, so you can see now we have our 12 cards, 3 by 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 by what? 3 by 4. So if I should close all of this, So each of these represents a card, right? So this is a card, all of our 12 cards for the 12 extensions in our project. Okay, again, like I said, to duplicate any element in your in your documents, you just highlight it, or just make sure your cursor is on that line. Hold down Shift Alt and then use the direction to duplicate, either up or down. So down, 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 up, 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 down, 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 however you want it. So that's what I just did, just in case you're confused. So back here we have our 12 cards, as you can see, right? Good. Now let me explain how you can shorten this code here. So instead of writing 1FR, 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 we are going to use a shorter method which says repeat, right? Repeat. Now what this means is repeat the number of cards 3 times. The first value is the number of cards you want. So on each is the number of columns you want, sorry. So I want 3 columns, comma, and each column should be 1 FR wide. Okay? Each column should be 1 FR wide, and then you close. Right? So you see the same thing is happening here. 1 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR. Am I clear? And now we'll do the same thing for the row. We have 4 rows, right? So we're going to repeat. Enter. So how many rows do we want? We want 4 rows, comma, and all the rows should have a width of what? 1 fraction. 1 over 4, 1 over 4, 1 over 4 for all of them to have an equal what? Height. So if you notice their heights are equal from top to bottom for each card. All their heights are what? Equal. And our card is set and ready. Or our grid, sorry, is set and what? Ready. See, we are getting our structure to look like what? Our layout to look like this. So now that we have gotten the layout, we now need to what? Style each of these cards. Okay, if you come to pesticide, let's take a look at this. So there is the milk here, there is the pink here, and there is another milk under. So what this means is each card has 3 different sections. So I have the section, I split this into 2 sections. So let me draw this out for you. So let's come here. Let me remove all of this excess. So when we are done styling the card, we can duplicate the content. For now, we just need 1 card. The grid system is still going to work, by the way. We just need 1 card, right? So now let me explain. So each card is like this, right? Right here, this is our card. Now we have inside this card we have an icon to the left and an icon to the right. Okay, now to do this shows we're having a 2-dimensional layout, right? We have left, we have right, and then we have bottom here, right? So you can also achieve this using the grid system. Okay, but for this I used the flex layout. Now what I did in this flex layout was, so for our card, this is our card first of all. So in each card we have 2 layouts inside. We have the top and we have the what? Bottom. right here, which is everything at the top and everything at the what? Bottom. So we'll come here. Now at the top we have a section for what? Icon right here. And to the right we have a section for text right here. Okay, then at this bottom part we have a button and a toggle, right? So we have our button here and we have a toggle at this point, right? So this is what our layout will look like. Don't worry, it's not complicated. We are going to do this step by what? Step. So first step, we have gotten our card, right? Next up, we want to figure out our what? Top and bottom. So right here and right here. So let's go to our code. So we already have our card right here. So now to figure out those two sections in our project, so we're going to call this the content, and we're going to call this bottom part the what? Actions, because this is where actions are going to take place, is it not? So we're going to remove is going to remove a card, toggle is going to make it active or not. So this is where actions are going to take place, and at the top is where our content is. So we're going to call this div.content. Now a shortcut to be able to create all of your content at once is div.content creates the, sorry, not content, div.card content, right? Creates the section on top, which is this. Oh, where are you? Okay, so let me just do this again. So we're going to get the section on top, right? Which is the icon and the text. It's going to be inside the div content. Now we want to create for the bottom content where our actions take place. So to create the two of them at once, you use a plus sign. So it's going to create this div with card content, and it's also going to create this div with card actions. Okay? Card content and card actions, two of them. So you see the two divs have been created. So let me separate them here. Now we're going to focus on the card content. So before we do that, let's style our card. So we've styled the card already to be we have styled the card already to be red. We're giving it a height of 200 pixels. You can as well remove the height. Since we declared a grid, right? A grid gives it how do I call it? A grid gives it a row and a column, right? We have declared the height to be 1 fr for each row and the width to be 1 fr for each column. So you can skip giving it a width and a height, and it will still display as usual. Okay, so now we want to target the card what? Content. We want to target the card what? Content. And let's say we want to give the card content a background of yellow, and we are giving it a width of 100% and a height of 150 pixels. Can we see that? So we gave it a height of 100% and 150 pixels, right? And now at the bottom we said we are going to give what? Card actions. So which is this file here, or this element here, the card actions. So we want to style our card actions. So card actions, we're going to give it a width of 100% Mind you, the card section, I gave it a height of 800 pixels, right? So we didn't give the card any height or width, but how can we identify what the height is going to be? So because we declared each card to be 1 FR by height, right? And we 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 created rows of 4. Okay, what this means is uh, we have a height of this. Say this is 600 pixel, right? And we've declared our container to be a grid with 3 rows. So automatically what this is going to do is that height of 600 pixels, right? Sorry, 600 pixels. Since we have 3 rows, it's going to divide by what? 3, which is what? 200 what? Pixels. So automatically the height of our cards will be what? 200 pixels each. 200 pixels and 200 what? Pixels. In other words, we said in our case we have, let me clear this up. Uh, excuse me, in our case we have a height of 800 pixels, right? And then we declared each card or each row to be 1 over 4. 1 over what? 4. Now, how the browser assigns height to each row is 1 over 4 times the height we gave our container is what? The height we gave it is what? 800 pixels. So it's going to take this full height of 800 pixels, right? And multiply it. So this is 800 over 4. And 800 over 4 is what? It's going to give us 200. So automatically, each row is going to be a height of what? 200 what? Pixels. Which means our cards now are what? 200 pixels. Very easy, right? So let me clear this. So if our cards are 200 pixels and we gave the card content, now our card has two contents, right? Card contents and card actions. Is it not? So we gave the card content a height of 150 pixels. So automatically the card actions will take up a height of what? 50 pixels. 150, and automatically this is going to be what? 50. Altogether is going to give us what we just calculated of 200 what? Pixels. So take note, anytime you're giving a content height, take note of the calculation so that it doesn't exceed the height of your what? Of your card. So moving on quickly, we are now going to declare the height for our card actions. So height is now going to be what? 50 pixels. But that height is looking small. It's looking small to me. So let me see. I'll make this 60 pixels height for the card actions and 140 for the card content. Altogether 200. Exactly. So we say we've brought this up. Okay. Now, notice there's a space at the edge here. Okay, so this pesticide. Notice we have this space around our content inside the card. So we said internal spacing is called what? Padding. So we're going to go back to our card and we need to give it a padding of say 10 pixels. And we're going to see the effect now. Can you see the effect? So let me put this here, take this off. So I should take away this padding. Notice what happens here. It fills the container, right? But if I should introduce the padding, it what puts in that space that we saw around our content. So let's give this a background color of blue violet, okay? Just for something to be there. Good. So we have the first layout in our card. Done. Now, let me increase this. This is the first layout, right? This is the first layout, like this. So we have the card content, and now we have the what? Card action. Now, come over here. Inside the card content, we have icon to the left and text to the what? Right. So we have icon to the left and text to the where? To the right. All of this is inside our card content, the top what section of our card. This card content here. Okay. So now we're going to include our content. Now, inside the card content, excuse me, we are going to create a div dot card icon. So this is where our icon is going to be. And to the right, we're going to create a div dot card description. Okay, by card description I mean this text to the right and card icon to the left. Okay, enter. So card icon, let's bring in our icon. So the first icon we have, okay, before we do that, let us complete our layout. So card icon first, or rather card content. Now if I'm to write anything here, this is card icon, right? And this is card description. So let's see what it looks like. Can you see, because they are block elements, they are stacked top to bottom, right, on top of each other. But in our project, we have them stacked side by side. Can we see that? Now, this is a one-dimensional movement from left to right. So automatically, what are we going to use? We are going to use a display of what? Flex. So card content. We are going to display our content to be what? Flex. Before I finish that spelling, let's put this here. Okay. So take note of what happens. Display of flex, and they go side by what? Side by side. Okay. Now we also want to give a gap of say 10 pixels. Notice the gap of 10 pixels, right? So now we have gotten the side by side layout for the card content. So let's go in and bring in our content. So here for card icon, we are bringing in image, and our first card is what? Dev length, right? Our first card is dev length. So our alt is going to be the dev length extension. And if we come to our card, you can see the dev length extension is going to be showing because there's no image yet. So let's put an image. So let me zoom this in. To put an image, like I said, is the same pathway we need to take, right? We need to leave the index, come into our what? Folder. To do that is a dot and a slash. So now we are inside our folder. We want to come into images and access the logo dev length, which is this. Okay, so now we are inside here, images, and then we get our logo at dev length right here, as you can see. So let's look at our project. And yes, our project is right there. Our icon has been introduced. Now in the card section, we have dev lens at the top and quickly inspect text at the bottom. So already, like I said, the natural flow of block elements in a browser is top to bottom, right? So inside here, we don't need to display anything to be flex. Okay, we need to just put in our content. So first of all, we have this to be a header. So let's call that header 2 or header 3. I will call this dev lens, right? And underneath we have, I'll just copy this, quickly inspect page layouts and visualize element boundaries. So P tag enter with paste in our text. Okay, so that is ready. Let's go to our project right here. So you can see right here our project, our card description has been complete. So now let's style it. We can see a space here and a space here, right? The space is even. Let's look at this. Now we want to give the container for our card icon, this container here, we want to give it a width so that it expands more than this. Okay, and we also want to give dev lens, the card description, a width. So you can choose not to anyways. So we say that card icon, we want to give it a width of 30%. Is it card icon or card icons? Yes, card icon. So we'll give it a width of 30%, no changes. So maybe we need to increase that to 40. So you see, there's a change. It increased to what? 40%. Now, if this is 40%, how many will this be? Since if everything is 40%, right? The whole card is 40%. And we gave the icon to be 40%. The whole card, sorry, is 100%, right? Let me just, so I don't confuse you. The whole card like this is, the card description took up 100%, right? Now, inside that 100%, we've taken up 40%. So how many do you think is left here? This is automatically going to be 60% because 40 plus 60 will give us 100, right? So now we'll go over to our card description. Card description to be width of what? 60%. Okay, that being said, let me turn this off. What? Okay, so notice what just happened. Because when I was assigning width, right? Because I hadn't given a width to the class, to the description, right? This, the 40% that I declared here was not accurate because we needed to declare the both of them to see what they look like. So until I declared 60% before I saw the actual 40%, and that's true enough because if all of this is 100% and this is half of our card, right? So therefore, this is correct to be what? 40% compared to where it was before around here, right? So this is actually correct, but we don't want that. So let's make it 30 and make this guy 70. Make this guy to be 70%. Not enough, so okay, I think this was 25. Oh, this is my error. 43%, not, it's 30%, not 43%. Good. So this is what we have. We can make it 20 and 80. Let's see what we have in our project. See what we have here. Okay, let's go on with this. Uh, Making it 25 and making this 75. So both of them make it 100. Okay, so we have that to be that. So we have gotten our layout completely. Going to turn off pesticide. So this is what it looks like. So I'll remove, going to remove this yellow. And I'm going to remove this red so that we can see our actual card playing out. Okay, so we said the card has background of white, not the card section. Great, so this is our card, just like this, right? This is our card. So what next? We need to space these elements out. They are too close to each other so that we can have a neat layout like this. So to do that, we're going to, inside our card description now, sorry, each of these should also have a height of 100% so that they fill in their what container. Forgot to add that. Okay, without this height, okay, let me do this. Let me just show you guys this. And then give it a background color of green or gold. So let's see what happens here. Okay, no, we're giving this, no, this is already 100% correct. So we can still leave it on a height of 100%. Okay, it's still going to work, but it's better to, it's okay. I prefer declaring it so that the browser knows what it's working with. Okay, so inside the card icon, I want this element, right? I want this icon to display at the center of its parent, of its house. Inside here, the card icon, I want the icon to display at the center. So how do I do that? I'll simply say display as what? Flex, right? And then I use the justify content to be what? Center. Okay. So this is happening because I need to declare our image, right? I need to declare the width and the height that it's going to take inside of our flex element. Okay, so our card icon, and inside our card icon, the image, let's give it a width of 80%. Great, so we have done what we can. And we also give it a height of say 50%. Great. So now we see that it's aligned at the center because we've given it a width and height. Okay, why we need to declare a width and height for the image is since we are declaring this container to be flex, right? And we want to position this image at the center. Now, the browser needs to know the width of this image so that it applies the same margin to the left and the right. It also needs to know the height of this image so that it knows what margin it applies to the top and the bottom, assuming we were to align items to the center. Now it moves, right? If I don't give this a height, the browser will not know what to apply at the bottom and at the top. Okay, so you need to give your elements or your child elements, you need to give them a width and a height if their parent element is displayed as what? Flex. In this case, we don't need this. So we need it to be at the top. And right now we have something like this, right? So now we want to space our elements between dev length and the text under. We want to give a neat space under because they are very close to each other. So to do that, we go to our card description block, and inside our card description block here, inside, let me close card icon, we're done with that. Inside this card description block, we have a h3 element, right? Now we want to style that h3 element, so we need to call it out. So we want to give it a line height, or a height rather, a height of 50 pixels. Let's see what that looks like. See, it has pushed down our what content, our description, right? But that space is too much, so let's reduce it by 20 pixels. See what it looks like. No, 30. Okay, let's see 35. Great. So we have a layout like this, the space between, right? Let's reduce the text size of this text right here. So to do that, we're also going to call the card description and target the p tag inside of it. Okay, we'll call out the card description and target the p tag inside it, which is what I just did here. And we're going to give it a font size of, let's see what 14 pixels look like. Good. So this is the final look we are looking for. 14 what? Pixels. And we are done with the top of our what? Card, which is this point here. So now we also want to declare define the content of our bottom layout, which is down here. So we have the remove button and we have the toggle button. So to do that, go to our HTML. So we are done with the card content, and right now we're in the card action. Okay, card action is everything we have inside this purple box. So inside the card action, like I said, to our left we have a button. Okay, and inside the button we have remove, and to the left we have a toggle, right? If you notice, they are showing side by side because the button element, like I explained earlier when we were in the filter section video, I explained that the button element is an inline element, right? And this is showing beside it because it's not specified to be any kind of tag. It's only text within this card action, right? So it's seen as a normal text. That's why it's showing by the side. If I'm to put P toggle, now this is going to show or come underneath, right? See, toggle comes under because the paragraph tag is a block element. It's actually taking this full width from here to here. Okay, it's a block element. But we just need a toggle. I want to use this to show again how flex works. Okay, because from our final layout we have remove on the left and toggle on the what? Right. So card actions. Scroll up to card actions and we're going to display this as what? Flex. Okay, flex display, and we're going to see it turn up to be side by what? Side. Am I clear? So now justify content, we're going to give it space between. I explained before, so that it pushes the two contents to the end of their what? Container. So remove stays on the left and toggle goes to the what? Right, so that we can have a look something like this. Okay, we've gotten that. And now we need to align the content in the center. Align items center. Good. So they are now centered. But in our design, it looks like our elements are actually at the bottom, not at the center of their container. So you can see the two of them are on the line at the bottom. So to do this, all we need to do is, instead of align item center, we align items to the end and we take them down. Okay, so now let's style our buttons. So inside dot card actions, we want to style the buttons. Sorry, it's a button, not buttons. So we want to give it a width. Let's say we give it a width, or we just give it a padding. Now at the top we want a padding of 10 pixels. To the left and right we want a padding of 20 pixels. Exactly, so we have that done. So let's say 25 pixels. Great. Then what next? So we have a border radius. If you look at the final project here, we have a border radius on our remove. Oh, okay, the height is not so big, so we can reduce the padding we gave the top and the bottom. Right here, make it say 5 pixels. Okay, or 8 pixels. So border radius, we're going to give it 30 pixels to have a very rounded shape. Exactly. If you remember I said before, if you give it 50%, it's almost going to look like a circle. Yeah, but that's not what we want. So 30 pixels is fine. And then we're going to give it a background color of white instead of the default grayish looking button color. Okay, now we have that. So to see what we are doing very well, I'll remove this. Awesome, so this is what we have, our button. So we can declare a border, let's see, 1 pixel, solid, give it a dark gray. So hover over this, just take it down a bit, not completely black. Great, so we have this. So our remove button is set. And now all we have to do is set up our toggle button. Now this is where the trick is going to be. So to do this, sorry, to do the toggle button, I'm going to make a separate video because it has to do with animation, clicks and all that. So it's going to make this video long. Just to shorten this, I'm going to end the video here and our card is created. So to see what it looks like, you can come over here, minimize this. So let's highlight it. Like I said, to duplicate shortcut, hold down Shift and Alt, and then you can use your arrow buttons on your keyboard up or down to duplicate this. So we're going to take it down and let's see what we have. So this is our layout. Okay, these are our layouts. So we have two more to duplicate. So I'll just go down one, two, and we are ready to go. So quickly, let me put in the images for these two extra cards at the top right here. So the first one we have is Style Spy. So the first one we have is what? Style Spy. So we will go over to our up here. So this is dev lens, right? So we'll come here, take this off. We're looking for Style Spy right here. So you can see it has taken what? Okay, it has taken effect here. So we want to put for speed boost. Come down, and we're going to look for speed boost right here. And there you go. So repeat the rest for the rest of the cards. Thank you.